Come, big snows, that the rivers will flow this summer and all hearts be glad. A poem from the Zuni Indians binds the fate of rivers to temperamental mountain snows and the fate of humans to the rivers. This winter, there were bountiful snows in the San Juan Mountains to melt in the May sunshine, and the Dolores River flows wide and fast. Why did the Spaniards name the river Dolores, River of Sorrows? It's strong as it flows to join the Colorado River in Utah. It nourishes pine forests at the foot of sloping mesas speckled with juniper. It glides through arid valleys with the salt of ancient seas just below the surface. It tumbles over boulders, creating never-ending thunder. It's carved away rock to reveal 150 to 300 million years of Earth history, leaving the signature of its ebbs and floods in the sandstone cliffs. The rivers are our brothers, wrote Chief Seattle. They quench our thirst, carry our canoes, and feed our children. You must give to the rivers the same kindness you would give to your brothers. The people who lived in this canyon for 12,000 years left us no poems, but they did leave their marks at hundreds of sites along its course. They left the imprint of their fingers in mortar and the echoes of their children's voices in the songs of night birds among the pinnacles above the river's serpentine channels. Was it a river of sorrows to them? Now men, women, and children come only to visit the river and find it a river of joy.
Put around the corner.
Rita Lovato, 9 News. We are 32, including members of the Denver Museum of Natural History. Our guides, Al and Debbie McClelland, and 6 boatmen, will float 6 days and 100 miles without hair dryers, TV, or flush toilets. Everything we'll eat, drink, wear, or need is waterproofed and tied on the boats. The smell of rain drifts across the canyon of the River Dolores.
It has all of the high romance things that Western wild water rafting is all about. We have Indian ruins, a lot of archaeological sites, have a beautiful side stream and side canyons for hiking. We have exciting whitewater, thrilling things to do, beautiful, unspoiled campsites, and it's not a boring trip.
Al guides the boat, but archaeologist Sue Eininger guides us into the canyon's past.
And then as we go through the canyon, I'll try to show you what was going on specifically within the canyon, because it's kind of a separate environment. But basically in this area of southwest Colorado, we have people that have been here for about the last 13,000 years.
As we make our first camp, we bear the chilling rain better, thinking of the sturdy souls who survived centuries of May storms without rubberized rain gear. When the clouds move on, we hear more about the nomads who wandered the Dolores Canyon before the birth of Christ.
They used natural shelters. They didn't build permanent structures at all. Overhangs probably were used a lot. Open sites, campsites. It's conceivable that they could have camped at this same spot that we're camping at now.
Dinner! Dinner's ready!
What did they cook? How many gathered here to share meals at the height of the Anasazi culture between 6 and 900 AD?
I've heard that supposedly in this area that it was higher in prehistoric times in the Dolores County area than it is presently, that there were more people in here then.
Really?
But abruptly, the ancients disappeared from the canyon, and now as we float through the pine forests, the imagination strains for a glimpse of these ancient inhabitants, but they elude us. Rita Lovato, 9 News.
What a wonderful place to have lived, though. What are we talking about, 700 years ago?
500-600
5 or
AD,
6.
so that's my calculator.
Dolores Canyon surveys have pinpointed hundreds of places that show signs of use by ancient people. To visit one, we climb 200 feet almost straight up.
If these units were used for storage, the inaccessibility of it would help preserve it, keeping animals away and other people away. Maybe for climatic reasons, it was a more comfortable place to be. And the fact that your overhangs are occurring this far up above the river.
A bird's-eye view of anyone passing on the river below is another advantage. The building technique is crude, yet Sue estimates the walls have stood for 1,000 years. Small stones, charcoal, and the builder's fingerprints texture the pink mortar. We're left to wonder about the purpose of the ruins. Only the rocks know the secret, and they're silent. 2 days later, behind our own campsite, museum member Mark Evans pokes into a dark overhang and produces another piece of ancient history.
This site here, because it's been on the river, has been visited a lot, and with a lot of people around the area, usually there's a lot of collection that goes on. And he found this just sitting right in the back of the shelter. The side notch points occurred a little bit later in time in the whole range of things, and it may have occurred sometime about 1,200 years ago and then through more recent times.
We scan the ground for other treasures. A scraper, its edge notched from use. And out on the flat, a rock with another special purpose.
That might have been used for chopping or breaking down the stone into a more usable form. And if you want to take a look at it, you can feel how comfortable. It's just the right size. It just feels real good in the hand.
Everything we find is returned. We take nothing but what we brought in. Yes, these riverbanks did echo with hunters butchering game, women cooking, and children picking flowers. And artists worked at enormous sandstone boulders, etching their visions of the world into the rock. Rita Lovato, 9 News. From day one, we're introduced to cold waves bouncing up and over the sides of our rafts.
I didn't expect to have wet feet during the whole time I was on the boat, so that's kind of a surprise.
We watch our boatmen fight the Dolores River for control of the heavy boats and usually win. We learn the ways of the river.
Put that to miles?
Knots, a mile and an eighth.
Okay. You got your calculator?
2.5 to 3 knots, mile and an eighth. So we're going about 3 or 4 miles an hour.
We become used to the constant thunder of the spring runoff as we camp. The sun disappears early above the canyon rims, and the sounds and the reflections make an impression that painters can only dream about. But on the third morning, we prepare to see the Dolores as we haven't seen her before.
1 or 2 of us will be below the rapid, and we'll be standing by with a throw bag. And the throw bag, obviously, is to pick up anyone who might decide to swim the rapids rather than raft them. And it's also weighted, and you grab the other end of the rope, and then we would pull you in.
The rapid is called Snaggletooth. It's treacherous and the perfect example of why rafting is nosing its way to the top of the list of personal adventure sports in Colorado.
I rode down the big rapids with Mike, and when I got down, I said, "Will you take me back and let me come down again?"
Then there's smooth water ahead with time to relax. Spirits are high. Our shared experiences have turned 32 strangers into friends. Rita Lovato, 9 News. Our time on the river is almost over. We're glad we came and hesitant to leave.
I do most of my work in the office, mostly just by maps. And it's a real pleasure to me to be able to get back out and actually look at the rocks on the ground that I work with in my office and all my maps.
I'd go next week.
Where would you like to go next?
Well, I'd just as soon do this one again. I've loved the scenery has been absolutely magnificent. I would see twice as much the second time down.
McPhee Dam is under construction a few miles up the Dolores from our starting point. It's only a little dam, writes environmental journalist Edward Abbey, but damn it, it's only a little river. Archaeologists have been excavating the Anasazi sites that it will flood. A museum is planned. After McPhee is filled, this little river could run at 1/20th its springtime size for most of the year. Trips like ours will be rare.
I feel very, very unhappy that, due to man's inconsideration, that my grandchildren will probably not have the opportunity to share this experience. And if that's progress in the true American sense, perhaps that's the price of a computer age.
This adventure has put our world in perspective. Where ancients dared to live, we dare only to visit. For 1,000,000 years, the river has sculpted with a free hand. We presume to chain it as we've chained mightier rivers with mightier dams. A river isn't sad or glad, and I can't say if a dam is good or bad. But another 1,000 years will determine which is stronger. We've come into a towering natural world. With our protecting numbers, nylon tents, and ice chests, we've come and been amazed. We've sung every song we know to our river by the time we leave. And long after we leave, the song of the river will live in our dreams. Rita Lovato, 9 News.
And that's why